Dearly beloved, we are gathered here to join together this man and this woman in holy matrimony.
It was a day that made royal history. It seemed to be the beginning of a new golden era that would bring change to the royal family.
It's a fairy tale beyond fairy tale. We come from really humble stock. My father was a painter and decorator. My mum was an accounts clerk. And their eldest granddaughter was at Westminster Abbey about to marry the future king of this country.
The day the heir to the throne married a commoner. The first such union in over 300 years.
Finally, it can be said that the British monarchy has a queen who wasn't plucked from some foreign shore or from the shires and the aristocracy.
And it was a day that broke with tradition in other ways. One where royalty and A-list celebrities mixed with ordinary folk.
We were just from a little village, miles down the road. And here we are in the Abbey at a royal wedding. Absolutely marvellous, brilliant.
In an era of economic gloom, it was a day that brought a divided nation back together. But the threat of violence was always there.
My fear is there's some kind of Guy Fawkesian plot going on behind locked doors to put a bomb somewhere.
This film tells the inside story of that momentous day through the memories of those who took part, some speaking for the first time.
So we were going, it's our dress, it's there, and seeing it in the Abbey, even when I'm old and grey, I'll still feel proud of what we did.
We're excited. The future king of England as well. You know, it's a big responsibility, it's a big challenge.
It was a day that united a family, unaware of the future discord that would divide them. The day Will and Kate got married. "1,900 guests are gathering in the traditional splendour of Westminster Abbey for the first royal wedding of the social media age. It's a welcome distraction for a nation blighted by recession, riots, and unpopular government cuts. Foreign VIPs, celebrities, and prime ministers stand shoulder to shoulder with people from the village where Kate grew up.
There were loads of people invited from the village. It was just like any other wedding. We walked around, all chatting, talking to everyone. David Beckham was there. I went up and said hello to him. Big fan. It was such a buzz. I mean, you was tingling with excitement and happiness and joy. You thought you was dreaming.
And at the centre of it all was a middle class, Middle England, working family.
Wow, it's just unbelievable. My mum would have melted on the spot to have been there. I mean, she would have loved that moment, loved that moment. We were all so proud.
There's a whole big world outside this village, Jenny. And I know nothing of it.
But how did a girl from an English country village land a future king? Perhaps the seeds were sown in a school play years before.
Soon you shall meet a handsome man, a rich gentleman. It is all I ever hoped for. Will he fall in love with me? Indeed he will, and marry me, and marry you.
Raised in the Berkshire village of Bucklebury, Kate was the eldest of 3 children, born to budding entrepreneurs Carol and Michael Middleton.
Carol and Mike, they're just a normal family. I've seen James, Pippa, and Kate growing up through the years. The Boot was their main pub. They used to come there and have a meal, have a drink, and they mixed with everybody and anybody.
Anywhere your heart desires. Only say yes to me.
Yes, so yes, dear William.
Marrying a prince called William in Westminster Abbey was something Kate's ambitious grandmother could only have dreamt about. Miner's daughter Dorothy and lorry driver Ron Goldsmith celebrated their wedding in the local pub in their working-class West London neighbourhood. They had 2 children, Kate's mother Carol and her younger brother Gary.
My sister and I, we come from really humble stock. Mum was a bag of fun, a bag of mischief, a bit of a lush. So Mum would get somewhere, be the life and soul, and Dad would always have to drive us home. Dad would work every hour he could to appease Mum, and Mum was very driven and motivated.
Dorothy wanted to move her family up in the world. It earned her a regal nickname.
The Duchess. So my mum was a proper royalist. So we would be at Windsor Castle every given opportunity. I would be on the battlements again. We would be there to sneak a peek at the royals for the polo. Very, very, very staunch royalist.
Kate's real-life Prince Charming, on the other hand, couldn't have had a more different background. Born 6 months after Kate into the Windsor dynasty.
For William, being in the public eye was part of a way of life. William was very down-to-earth, very considerate. But the Prince and Princess were very keen that the boys grow up as naturally as possible.
Graham Craker had been William's protection officer from the age of 4 and accompanied him to Eton.
At one stage, William wanted to be a policeman. I suppose being a policeman was, at that time, was attractive to him because he was around policemen, myself. But I think he probably realised his future was within the royal family. I don't think it fazed him. He was aware of, his position, and I think he accepted it graciously.
And I don't think it's fanciful to imagine him out on the playing fields of Eton, looking up at Windsor Castle and knowing that that was his destiny.
In 2000, the palace announced William would attend St Andrews University. Kate, meanwhile, had been accepted by Edinburgh, but for unknown reasons, she had a sudden change of plan.
She did reapply to St Andrews, which was quite a risky thing to do because female admissions shot through the roof, with candidates desperate to get to St Andrews because they all wanted to bag a prince. She ended up not only at the same university, but on the same course, in the same halls of residence, and William was a catch.
The two became friends until a student fashion show changed everything.
She had obviously been chosen as a model to walk in the show, and she decided, actually at the last minute, to turn what was meant to be a lace skirt into a dress. Must have taken some guts to get out onto the catwalk, in just your underwear and a see-through dress. William was in the audience, and he turned to one of their mutual friends and said, "Wow, Kate's hot." And it was, I think, like a switch had been flicked. He suddenly saw her in a very different light, and I really believe that that was the turning point in their relationship.
Away from the media spotlight, they started a relationship. But when they were spotted together on a skiing holiday, their secret was revealed.
had a phone call from Carol to mention there was some press about to land, and just to be aware that Catherine was dating William. And I was in the boardroom. I was sworn to secrecy, but everybody in that board were my best friends, so the first thing you do is tell them. And I just happened to mention that I think I'm going to be uncle to the future Queen of the country, of which everything at that point stopped, and I got totally ridiculed. Haha.
Catherine Middleton.
After graduating from St Andrews, their relationship continued to grow.
William Wales.
Big white world out.
Helped along by Kate's parents, who welcomed William into the family circle.
The first time I met William was at Carol and Mike's house. The front door was ajar. I just walked straight into the house to see Catherine cooking, William making cups of tea, and Carol, Mike, Pippa and James just mooching around the kitchen with oh, Gary's here, and just hugs and kisses, and then William shaking hands saying, hello.
Here was the family life that he'd never had. His father so preoccupied all the time with his work, no mother, but it's meant that both his sons have turned in other directions for the warmth and family life that they want, and in the case of William, it has been to the Middleton family. So there's a very real sense in which this middle-class family became surrogate parents for him.
They phoned up one day and said, could we have 2 tables tonight, please, John? So that day we had 3 or 4 6'5" guys in jeans walking up our garden and looking all round, and I thought that's a bit strange. As they walked in, I just went up and said, oh, hi guys, how are you? And okay, and Kate said, oh, John, just come here, this is William, John, just normal.
Press interest in the relationship was intense. A favourite boat hole, away from the prying lenses, was Uncle Gary's holiday home, the so-called Maison de Bang Bang in Ibiza.
They're out on boats, they've been on beach bars, they've had the full Ibiza experience, and they've had a really good time. My friend was there, who's helping them set up the outdoor DJ. And he was teaching William about the beats and how to drop a track. And he said the most important thing with it is that you do have a shout-out. And you need something that you're going to say when you drop a really good track, what you're going to say to them, what you're going to shout out to the audience. And apparently William's go-to was, the king's in the house, which I kind of love.
Kate was fast becoming a cover star in her own right. She sought out new designers. One of them was fashionista favourite, Brazilian, Daniela Halile.
My friend said, oh, I have this lovely girl that she's dating Prince William, and she loves my Issa dresses. Can she come to your studio? And I'm like, sure, no problem. And that's how we met. She always knew what suited her, what's very nice. She always had her own style.
As press speculation about a royal engagement intensified, Kate became a constant target for the paparazzi. She waited for a proposal, but there was still no sign of one.
It's been said that William was auditioning Catherine for her future role, and I think there's a truth to that. I mean, William was the future king of Britain and the Commonwealth. And, like it or not, part of his job was to choose a consort who would do the job well.
Prince William and his long-term girlfriend, Kate Middleton, have split up.
It was William who instigated that split. She wanted a sense of commitment, and at that point in time, William wasn't able to give it to her. But don't underestimate Kate Middleton and her tenacity and her determination. Suddenly, here she is, turning up at William's favourite nightclub in a fabulously short skirt, looking absolutely sensational. And really telling William, look what you're missing. And certainly that message wasn't wasted on William, because within a few weeks, they were back together.
But Kate would still have to wait 4 more years to marry her prince.